Hi everybody, and welcome to another episode of Greek Orthodoxy 101. Well, actually, this is a special episode. Now, many of you, if not all of you, should know that our Christian heritage is in the roots of Judaism. So I thought it'd be interesting for us to come on location here at Temple Brith Kodesh in Rochester, New York, and learn something about the Torah, its history, and some very interesting facts. So, Rabbi Peter Stein is going to take us through that history, and I think you're going to find this very fascinating.
Welcome. I'm delighted to spend some time today explaining some of the traditions in Judaism around the Torah scroll. That Hebrew word Torah, or Torah is the proper pronunciation, means learning. It is often called the sacred teachings of Judaism. They are the books known in English as the 5 books of Moses, the first part of the Hebrew Bible. And the 5 books of Moses, the Torah, is so important that it is kept in the form of the scroll as was written in ancient times. So we have a scroll, which is a leather parchment scroll attached on either end to wooden rollers. It is a very special kind of calligraphy written by a master scribe. And the tradition is that one scroll is copied directly from another scroll, being checked very carefully to make sure that no errors or changes are introduced. So the scrolls we have today match the scrolls that were written 1,000 years ago, or even 2,000 years ago. 5 books of Moses written in sequence from beginning to end. Because Hebrew is a language that moves from the right to the left, the beginning of the scroll is on the right-hand side, and the end is on the left-hand side. And as you move further into the scroll, it's rolled from one direction to another. The pieces of parchment are sewn together to make one long continuous scroll with all of the sacred teachings. There are certain parts that are written in a special way. Here we have the Song of the Sea, the passage from Exodus chapter 15, the Song of Thanksgiving after the Israelites went forth into freedom. And it's written in a wave-like pattern on the scroll, unlike any other passage in the Torah. Most of the writing is just continuous lines. Here it is staggered in such a way to remind us that this is the scene at the Red Sea in Exodus chapter 15. If we move a little bit further ahead in the scroll, the narrative, of course, goes that they passed through the Red Sea and then they reached Mount Sinai. And when they reached Mount Sinai, the 10 Commandments were given, and here we have those 10 Commandments. And again, there are spaces introduced to separate between each of the commandments. One of the things that's notable about the writing of the scroll is that this is the original form of the writing of the 5 books of Moses, the biblical text. And so this was before, for example, any of the punctuation was introduced. It was before chapter numbers or other headings were introduced. Also, the Hebrew language is a language that works with the vowels being figures that go above or below the characters. The characters are only the consonants. Those vowels came later on. And so the writing in the scroll is not just artistically a special calligraphy, but the writing of these columns is without any punctuation, without any chapter headings, without any page numbers, and without the vowels under or over the letters. So it really is a beautiful, beautiful tradition that is central to Jewish practice and to Jewish faith because it is continuous. This scroll, as I said, matches a scroll written 1,000 years ago, matches a scroll written 2,000 years ago, and that's because so much attention is paid to preserving it in the most ancient of forms. The scroll is out right now, but the way the scroll is kept, which shows respect for the teaching, shows the holiness and importance of the teaching, is that the scroll is rolled together, a belt is placed around the middle, and a mantle is placed over the scroll. For festive occasions, we also have silver or gold or other precious materials that hang as a shield over the scroll and as a crown on top of the scroll. And then the scroll is kept in the Ark, what is called in Hebrew Aron HaKodesh, the Holy Ark. And this is, again, a way of showing respect for the scroll, that it is kept, whatever the art or architecture is in a particular synagogue, it's kept inside the Ark, a reminder that from the very beginning of the biblical tale, the sacred teachings were kept in a special place, showing the greatest of respect. It is considered a great honor or something very, very special to have multiple scrolls, to have many scrolls. They're all exactly the same. They're the same 5 books written in the same fashion. And you'll often see, if you look inside the Ark, multiple scrolls. There are 2 reasons for that. One is that idea that it's special. It's an honor to have multiple scrolls. The other, though, is that for some holiday services in particular, there are 2 or sometimes even 3 readings that are called for in the worship service, and therefore we would have each scroll set to a different reading. There's actually a teaching that says the leaders of the congregation should never do anything which is onerous or presents a hardship to the congregation. So we wouldn't want to have only one scroll and make the congregation sit and wait while we rolled all the way from one part to another. Of course, if it's a congregation with only one scroll, then you do it that way and you sing a song or say a prayer as the scroll is being rolled, but that's the primary reason why you'll see multiple scrolls. Most important, though, is to know that they are all exactly the same books, the exact same writing. So one question that I'm sometimes asked is, we have the scroll written in this ancient form, the parchment scroll, the wooden rollers. That's the use of the Torah for ritual purposes. There are many, many different printed editions, modern printed editions of the book. Oftentimes the pews in the sanctuary will have printed editions to allow people to follow along with the reading. For study purposes, in classrooms, in other settings, there'll be many, many different printed editions. The importance of the scroll is that it is the central ritual, the most important ritual in Sabbath and Holy Day worship. The way the scroll is read during the service is with what in Hebrew is called a yad. A yad is the Hebrew word for a hand. It theologically serves to remind us that it was God who gave us these teachings, and so we have that symbolism. And also it serves to show respect for the scroll by protecting the writing, any oils or dirts or anything that might be on our hands. And so when we read from the scroll, we simply track the lines with the pointer, with the yad. In a worship service, there's rituals to begin and rituals to close. So the congregation will rise, certain hymns will be sung, the scroll is taken from the ark, processed through the congregation, opened up as we have it now for the reading, and then everything done in reverse. The scroll rolled back up, dressed once again, and processed through the congregation and placed back into the ark. So these are just a few of the traditions that are most important in Judaism about the 5 books of Moses, called in Hebrew Torah, the holy teachings. The 5 books of Moses are the first part of the Hebrew Bible and are given the greatest of respect. They're most actively used during the worship services. Thank you very much for your attention.
Well, thanks everybody for joining us for this look into the Torah. Well, there's just too much to cover in one video. So next time we're going to be looking at the secrets of the Torah. So thanks everybody, and remember to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll see you soon.